At 69 years old, Maureen McCormick has finally decided to speak a truth she has carried for more than half a century. A truth whispered about for decades, speculated on endlessly, but never once confirmed. For years, she allowed the rumors to swirl, the headlines to recycle the same tired questions, and the fans to wonder what really happened between America's sweetheart and the world's most adored heartthrob. But now, with the kind of clarity that only comes with age, survival, and hard-earned peace, she opens the door to a chapter she once guarded fiercely. And the real story is far more human, far more tender, and far more complicated than anyone ever imagined. To understand why this revelation matters, we have to go back, not just the Brady Bunch era or the days when David Cassidy's posters covered bedroom walls worldwide, but to the very beginning, long before fame, flashing cameras, and impossibly high expectations reshaped her life entirely. Maureen Denise McCormick was born on August 5, 1956, in Woodland Hills, California. Growing up in a middle-class family, she was a cheerful, charismatic little girl with an effortless spark that hinted at a future far bigger than anyone around her could have predicted. She was bright, expressive, and deeply drawn to creativity, performing for relatives during family gatherings and mimicking the characters she saw on television. It didn't take long before the entertainment world began to notice her. Commercials came first, then small television roles, each one revealing a natural presence that was warm, vibrant, and unmistakably genuine. But nothing could have prepared her for what would come next. At just 12 years old, Maureen was cast as Marcia Brady, the eldest daughter of the Brady family. No one, not the producers, not the cast, not Maureen herself, knew that this single role would forever shape television history and redefine her personal identity for the rest of her life. The Brady Bunch premiered in 1969, offering lighthearted, wholesome family stories during a period of profound cultural change in America. In the midst of national tension and generational divides, the show delivered laughter, optimism, and a sense of simple, uncomplicated joy. And at its center was Maureen's Marcia, beautiful, popular, kind, and yet quietly vulnerable in ways viewers rarely noticed. Her now famous line, "Marcia, Marcia, Marcia," became a permanent part of American pop culture mythology, instantly recognizable and quoted across generations. Viewers didn't just watch her, they adored her. The series became an icon, forever imprinting the Brady family into the heart of television history. Even decades later, Maureen's portrayal continues to resonate through reruns, streaming platforms, reunions, and an endless cascade of pop culture references. New generations still discover Marcia Brady, as if the show had aired only yesterday. But behind that perfect smile and the polished image of the all-American girl, Maureen was beginning to experience the pressures, expectations, and emotional complexities that often come with young stardom. Pressures that would quietly build until they became impossible to carry alone. As the Brady Bunch popularity exploded, Maureen's character grew larger than the show itself. The public couldn't get enough of the Brady world, leading to spin-offs, specials, and reunion films. In 1981, the Brady Brides debuted, following Marcia and Jan as newlyweds adjusting to adult life. That same year, The Brady Girls Get Married aired, further cementing the everlasting public fascination with the Brady family. Fans didn't just want to watch. They wanted to grow up alongside the characters. They wanted to follow them into adulthood, into marriage, into real life. And in many ways, Maureen embodied that transition for millions of devoted viewers. But life doesn't always match the scripts written for television. When the Bradys premiered in 1990, Maureen wasn't able to participate. She had just given birth to her daughter. For the first time, the girl America had watched grow up chose her private life over her professional one. That decision was deeply personal, marking a moment of joy while quietly signaling the beginning of a difficult struggle happening behind the scenes. While the Brady Bunch defined her early career, Maureen refused to be trapped by a single role. She expanded into a wide range of television appearances: Donnie and Marie, Happy Days, Vega Dollar, Fantasy Island, The Love Boat, and The Streets of San Francisco, each one allowing her to experiment and explore new dimensions of her talent. She moved into film as well, with projects like The Idolmaker in 1980, A Vacation in Hell in 1979, Skatown, USA in 1979, and Return to Horror High in 1987. These roles allowed her to break free from the Marsha Brady label, at least professionally. But emotionally, the public image was impossible to escape. She wasn't just Maureen. She was America's perfect big sister, and the pressure to maintain that perfection began slowly and steadily to take its toll. During her time on the Brady Bunch, Maureen had developed a complicated romance with Barry Williams, who played Greg Brady. Their chemistry was undeniable both on set and off. But the relationship was intense, unpredictable, and made all the more confusing by the fact that the world saw them as brother and sister. This internal conflict, feeling something genuine while pretending to be family on screen, was difficult enough to navigate. But it was only the beginning of Maureen's deeper struggle with identity, expectation, and the dangerously blurry lines between performance and reality. By the time the series ended in 1974, Maureen was just 18 years old, thrust suddenly from child superstardom into the chaotic, unforgiving world of adult fame. For the first time, she had to navigate Hollywood without the structure of a weekly series or the protective bubble of the Brady set. And that is when her life began to unravel. Hollywood in the 1970s was a galaxy of bright lights, endless parties, and easy temptation. Like many young stars before and after her, Maureen found herself drawn into a dangerous lifestyle. Cocaine, quaaludes, and a cycle of escapism took hold, slowly at first, then all at once. She missed auditions. She showed up to sets impaired. She sabotaged opportunities that might have elevated her career. She felt utterly lost between who she was, who she used to be, and who the world expected her to remain forever. Alongside addiction, Maureen battled bulimia and depression, all while desperately trying to maintain a facade of composure and happiness for the public. The pressures of fame, body image, and relentless public scrutiny worked together like gears in a grinding machine, slowly wearing down her self-esteem until very little remained. Fans saw Marsha Brady. Maureen saw someone drowning. On March 16, 1985, Maureen married actor Michael Cummings, a man who offered stability, compassion, and grounding at a time when her life felt dangerously unstable. Their relationship became a lifeline. Michael refused to enable her addictions and instead encouraged her to seek help, confront her pain, and rebuild her life one careful step at a time. In 1989, Maureen gave birth to their daughter, Natalie Michelle. Becoming a mother shifted something deep and irreversible within her. She no longer wanted to escape her life. She wanted to reclaim it. With therapy, medication, rehabilitation programs, and the unwavering support of her Brady castmates, her second family, Maureen slowly rebuilt her confidence, her health, and her sense of purpose. Her 2008 memoir, Here's the Story, Surviving Marsha Brady and Finding My True Voice, revealed the full extent of her struggles and helped destigmatize addiction, bulimia, and mental illness for countless readers who saw themselves in her story. In the years that followed, Maureen rediscovered the genuine joy of performing. She appeared on Dancing with the Stars, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, and co-hosted Frozen in Time, a design-focused home renovation series. She evolved from a teen idol into a woman of strength, resilience, creativity, and hard-won humor. And she proved, time and again, that survival is not merely about overcoming hardship. It is about choosing again and again to reclaim one's own voice and identity. Yet for decades, one question continued to linger around Maureen McCormick's life, whispered by fans and journalists alike. What really happened between Maureen McCormick and David Cassidy? The two young stars first met in the early 1970s at publicity events, tapings, and promotional gatherings, the kinds of places where teen idols were swarmed by fans, expected to smile endlessly, and kept under constant watch by studio handlers who controlled their every public move. David Cassidy was the ultimate heartthrob of his generation. Through the Partridge Family, he had become an international sensation. posters on every bedroom wall, sold-out concerts, mobs of screaming teenagers following him everywhere he went. Maureen was America's golden girl. Together, they were young, beautiful, and living inside a whirlwind of attention, pressure, and manufactured fantasy. And crucially, they understood each other in ways that very few people ever could. In her long-awaited confession, Maureen finally admitted the truth she had kept locked away for 50 years. David and I had a connection. It wasn't long, but it was real in that moment. He made me laugh. He made me feel seen. And he was someone I could trust when the cameras weren't rolling. It wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a tabloid romance engineered for publicity. It was two teenagers finding genuine solace in one another amid pressures they were never truly prepared to face. The studios of that era managed their young stars with an iron grip. They carefully cultivated an image of innocence, purity, and unattainability. Teen idols were simply not permitted to have normal relationships because romance, especially between two fan favorites, risked shattering the very fantasy that fueled their commercial value. As Maureen explained plainly, back then, the studios wanted us to look squeaky clean. If it had come out that I was dating David, it would have caused chaos. She wasn't exaggerating. The entire teen idol industry revolved around the carefully maintained illusion of availability. A real relationship, especially one involving two icons of that magnitude, would have been treated as a direct threat to both their careers. So they hid it. They buried their connection beneath layers of professionalism, publicity, bright smiles, and unspoken understanding. And the world never knew. As the years passed, Maureen watched from a quiet distance as David Cassidy's life became increasingly difficult. His struggles with alcoholism, the suffocating weight of early fame, financial troubles, and personal heartbreaks all became tragically and very publicly known. He passed away in November 2017 at the age of 67, leaving behind a legacy that was both brilliant and deeply bittersweet. With tears evident in her voice, Maureen reflected, "I wish I could have been there more for him. David had such a beautiful soul. Fame lifts you up so high, and then it can crush you. I knew that feeling because I went through it too." She saw in David a mirror of her own pain, the suffocating weight of expectation, the profound loneliness lurking behind the spotlight, the quiet ache to be truly understood rather than simply idolized. Her confession is not about sensationalism. It is about compassion. It is about choosing to remember him as a full human being, beyond the posters, beyond the songs, beyond the screaming crowds that once defined his world. As Maureen looks back now, she speaks with a kind of settled peace. Gratitude for survival. Gratitude for hard-won clarity. Gratitude for the people who crossed her path in meaningful ways, even briefly, even quietly, even in moments the world was never allowed to see. About David Cassidy, she concludes simply and honestly, "David Cassidy was special to me, and that is something I will cherish forever. No drama, no scandal, just truth.